It's true, growing your brand with video is by far one of the most challenging and time-consuming ways to make content right now. But it's not as hard as you may think. If you want to crush the attention-grabbing game and 10x your online presence in a relatively short time span, then you have little to no choice but to get involved in the video content creation game. And in this video, I'm going to reveal the actual stats behind the power of video content and give you some simple but effective tips on how to incorporate more video into your content game without spending a crazy amount of money or time to do so. In fact, in just the past year, I've uploaded over 365 videos, basically one per day, with a mixture of long form videos like this, plus tons of shorts. And combined, these videos have racked up well over 700 hours of total watch time. And we'll get into what this means and why it's the biggest driver of my brand's success thus far. But first, let's address the obvious and not so obvious hurdles that you will inevitably face when getting into the video game. Not like video games, but like the game of video content creation. You see, most reasons for why people never try or give up too soon on creating video content is that either it seems too hard, or you've tried it before and it took way too long and you didn't get enough results from it. So basically the effort to results ratio was just off, making it not worth it. Or sometimes people are just scared to be in front of the camera because you don't want to look dumb. You don't want to make yourself look like an idiot in front of everybody, right? And whatever your reasons may be, it's ridiculously proven that by not doing more video, there's a lot that you're missing out on. You see, our minds are naturally wired to quickly process visual information. In fact, studies have shown that the human brain processes visuals 60,000 times faster than text. And as a result, video content not only connects with audiences in a deeper level, but it also does that much more quickly than text ever could. And this is why video is the best format for a fast-paced world with shorter attention spans. And to add even on top of that, 92% of social media posts that people choose to share with their friends are videos. And to put this into context, that means that videos are getting shared 1,200% or 12 times more often than text-based or image-based content combined. So essentially, your videos are 12 times more likely to be shared than anything else you could ever possibly post. You just can't beat video. You may be great at writing up perfectly crafted text posts for LinkedIn or X, formerly known as Twitter. You may also be a pro at digital design and post images, graphics, and carousels that are amazing. And that's all really great, truly. It is. But video content still takes the cake in a handful of ways. So I'm gonna share a few of those with you now, the last one being my absolute favorite, so make sure you stick around for that. The first thing is that video just feels more real. To the viewer, video content feels so much more authentic and personal. This leads to new viewers being able to more quickly decide whether they like you or they don't. And no, you don't need to win everybody over. That's not the point here. The point is to put yourself and your brand out there in the most honest and authentic way so that people can get a more accurate impression of who you are and what you're all about. Video content is huge for this. And right off of that is the other advantage of building trust way quicker with your audience. Have you ever stumbled across a new YouTube channel and feel like you already know them, like them, and maybe even trust them before even the first video you've seen from them is over?
Look at me.
Exactly. The reason for this is when you record a video and post it online, you're capturing a lot more than just the message you're trying to convey in the video. You're also sharing your body language, your tone of voice, your facial expressions, the environment that you're in, and everything else that comes with that. And with all of these additional data points, of which there are a lot, the viewer gathers a much more detailed impression of you, which really lends itself well to people becoming familiar with you, your style, your vibe, and if they're into it, you'll gain their trust very quickly, something that text or images simply can't compete with. Video is also great because it requires less mental calories than other media formats. Let me explain what I mean. Piggybacking off of these other points, video content is often binged for one key reason. It's incredibly easy to consume. And whether it's more entertaining like Mr. Beast or more information dense like Jordan Peterson or Andrew Huberman, the fact is most people tend to spend their extra moments throughout the day taking in video content. And yes, there's plenty of people that gravitate towards books or online forums like Reddit, or just listen to to audio podcasts with their AirPods in, whatever it may be. But as we mentioned before, when you put out content that combines video and audio, and maybe even some text, there's way more information simultaneously available to the viewer, making the required mental effort to grasp the point of what's being relayed much easier on the viewer. And this is probably why so many people watch TV to wind down at the end of the day, or they're scrolling on their phone before they go to bed, or even when they wake up first thing in the morning. The next advantage of making video content and using that to help build your audience and your brand is that video is ultra accessible. And if your primary goal with making video content is to build your brand or your audience, then you have to recognize that video is now more accessible than ever. You know, back in the day, YouTube was really the only social media app that offered video. Facebook was still status updates. Instagram and Pinterest were just pictures and images. Twitter was only text. But now you can watch videos within all of these apps and more. And don't even get me started on this short form video craze. I am all in on that. I love it. I like watching the stuff. I like making the stuff. It's just fun. It's the new thing. And so I highly recommend you be a part of that as well, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But the point is, you can create literally one video and then post it on 5+ platforms, all reaching a different set of users. So every time you hit record and hit publish or upload or post, whatever it says on the button that you're hitting to put it out to the world, there are more people that can now see the video that you created. And if you feel like you're just way behind and too late to the game to even get started, the fact is, that's wrong. Right now is the best time ever to get started. Video content is a rapidly growing market that is not oversaturated at all. And I don't need to bring up the stats again around how video is actually taking over. I mean, the numbers are there, the data is in. But the coolest part for all of the new video creators out there is that there's plenty of room for you to jump in and start stacking up attention. Back in the day, the algorithms used to be built around social metrics, such as your follower count or how many subscribers you had. And what happened was that it made it really hard for new creators to come in and break through to get the attention that their content deserved. Now that's completely changed. Today, most social media algorithms are built around gauging interest as opposed to your current social status. Therefore, as a newbie, your first video could, it probably won't, but it could get over 100,000 views and bring in thousands of new subscribers like that. And we see it happening all the time. Now, granted, when you're just getting started, the chances of going viral are super slim because it takes consistent reps to get good at anything. Like if you want to be great at basketball, you got to practice your free throws. If you want to get stronger in the gym and become more healthy through fitness, you're going to have to improve the technique of things like squats, bench press, all of those pillar exercises. So prime yourself and your expectations to be ready to put in the work before you can expect anything amazing to come from it. But the point is, amazing things will happen. And now is the perfect time to get started. You ever heard that quote? The best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The next best time is right now. The sooner you get started, the quicker you'll get to where you want to go. And for the last advantage that I want to share with you around video, this is my favorite, I told you about it earlier, is that your videos can be repurposed into tons of additional content. And I've talked about this a lot before, but putting videos out in a consistent manner can pretty much be the only content creation that you have to do. You know, for me, once I put out a video like the one that you're currently watching, I can usually churn out between 25 to 50 additional pieces of content using my pillar micro content strategy, along with the content creation toolbox that I built for myself and now have made it available to you. Link in the description below. And so from each video, I can parse out tweets, image carousels, YouTube shorts, Instagram reels, and more, all from one video. And here's the behind the scenes of my weekly routine that's allowing me to do all of these things in the content creation space. You know, each week, all I focus on is writing one weekly email newsletter entry. And this goes out to my email list, of course, but then it gets turned into a blog for my website. It becomes the loose script for videos like this. I have my notes from this past week's entry right in front of me right now. And so essentially, instead of this content creation chaos of trying to come up with topics all the time and always pulling out my phone to try to record a new piece of content to post that day, all I have to do is focus on writing one medium to longer length entry, and then everything comes from that. And this is one of my favorite reasons for creating video content. There's a lot of juice that you could squeeze from it, making video content not only effective, but efficient as well. And now that I've given you pretty much all the reasons in the world to start making video content, let's get into the very next steps of going from where you are right now to having your first video out into the world. The first action item is rip the Band-Aid and commit to 1 video per week for 3 months. And if you have commitment issues, sure, it can be 2 months. Nonetheless, you need to rip that Band-Aid and commit to something for a certain amount of time. No matter how you feel, no matter what you're thinking, no matter what your nerves are saying, commit to this. It's just short term anyway, and then we'll find out whether this is a good fit for you or not. And also remember, the video doesn't have to be amazing. It probably won't. I mean, I'm still trying to dial this in for myself, and I've been doing it weekly for well over a year at this point. And also, the videos don't have to be super long. I mean, it can be 2 to 3 minutes. Don't sweat it. It doesn't need to be a life-changing piece of content. The premise here is that we're just trying to build the habit and the commitment around 1 video per week for a limited amount of time to begin with. The next obvious step is picking the place where you're going to film from and make it as frictionless to hit record as possible. And some tips on that are, first, maybe put yourself next to a window or some sort of light source. For me right now, I have an LED panel just right over here off the frame where you can't see it, and I have a window behind you that I'm facing out towards, and I have the curtains opened just a little bit over on this side. So I get kind of that even lighting, but a little bit of a stronger thing from here. You don't have to get all scientific like I just did with it, but just make sure you're next to a light source so people can see you, right? And wherever you choose to record, the next thing to think about is audio, what your microphone is going to be picking up. And you don't need something fancy like what you see here, although this is not an expensive mic. It's the Rode Pod mic. It's their original version. I think they've done a couple other versions of it now at this point. You wanna make sure that there's not dogs barking in the background or horns honking. The best that you can, try to find a quiet space to be able to record. And one little hack with that is, instead of paying for all of this expensive sound diffusion and noise cancellation stuff that you can put all over your walls, or buying the cheap panels off of Amazon that don't work at all, the trick here is use moving blankets. I got on Amazon and I bought this huge pack of heavy duty moving blankets, and I actually have some hanging on the walls over here off to my right. I have it covering up my door. I'm actually standing on one, and I have one bolted into the ceiling. So I've made this room nice and quiet. And I've mentioned before, but my youngest son, my 3.5-year-old, his bedroom is right on the other side of this dark wall behind me. So I have to try to make it as quiet in here as possible. But you can use little tips and tricks, Google it, but quiet space with a light source, that's what you want. And here's the thing, pre-production, which is everything that you do before you actually hit record and then the editing behind it, pre-production is very, very underrated. It doesn't get enough credit for how powerful it actually is to the final quality of the video that you're trying to record. But if you can capture good audio and good video, you're not gonna need much else, which is going to alleviate some of that initial pressure to feel like you need to hire an editor to make all of these fancy motion graphics and sound effects and all of the different things that you see professional YouTubers doing. That's not necessary. Focus on good pre-production and you're on the right track. And the last thing you're gonna need is having some notes together. Unless you're ready to just free flow and cut out a lot of mistakes, even just in this recording right now, I don't know how long of the video it is at this point on the final version, but I've already been recording for 31 minutes as I look down here at my audio recorder. You want to have your notes in place so that you're not wasting too much time just fumbling over yourself. All right. So whether that's bullet point notes for you, or you actually want a line by line script, totally cool, whatever works for you, but have an idea and some notes together around what you're speaking on so that you can save yourself more time while you're recording and potentially on the editing side as well. And now that you're ready, it's time to hit record. And I'm not gonna get into camera tech or any of that stuff here. We can do a separate video for that if you'd like. But if you're doing something that's more tech-based, say you're filming a tutorial from your desk and you wanna share what's on your screen, there's a great online tool called Loom, L-O-O-M. It allows you to record your screen and from your webcam all at the same time, and they make it really friction-free so that you can start pumping out content like never before. I highly suggest Loom if you're gonna do that kind of video. And then the other thing is, if you don't need your computer screen or anything else, use your iPhone or whatever smartphone that you have available to you. Again, as long as people can see you and hear you clearly without any distractions on either one of those sides of the coin, you're off to the races. And then of course, drum roll, it's time to post the video. Hit upload, hit post, hit share. This is going to feel nerve-wracking, so take a deep breath if it's your first time. I still have to face this sometimes myself when I'm going through this process. And with this, I know you're probably thinking a few of the following things. Well, Evan, I don't know what topics to record on, or how do I edit my video? I'm gonna have to do that, right? Or maybe you're just thinking, I don't wanna look dumb. Or you're thinking, I don't want my amateur video, which isn't good and I know it won't be good, to hurt my brand reputation. I don't want to kill my reputation before I've even really gotten started. And all of that is totally fair. I mean, I totally get it because I've wrestled with these same mental dilemmas as well. And that's why you should subscribe to this channel to ensure that you get my upcoming videos that are going to help you succeed on your path to building your brand, your business, and your content. But regardless of whatever mental roadblocks are floating around in your head right now as it relates to making videos, it's either due to a temporary but current lack of skill, or it's a self-limiting belief. But neither of those things are going to go away without hitting record and then eventually uploading. You have to embrace the nerves, embrace the cringe, embrace the process. This is how you create the next best chapter in your story using video. It will work, trust me. And if you like this video, be sure to let me know in the comments. And if you don't mind, do me the simple yet effective favor of hitting that like button. And until next time, peace.